live stream, winning in your job interview. Today, we are going to be doing part two of the best way to negotiate pay. We did part one yesterday, so I am going to do part two today. And I'm going to be sharing some information with you guys that help you to not leave money on the table. I'm going to give you insight into how pay is negotiated on the back end. I'm telling you this because this is my responsibility where I work. I am the one that handles the pay negotiations. I have taken that out of the hands of the hiring managers. So I'm an expert at this. For those of you who want to send me their resume, I am going to pin my email. Once I get to it, I'm going to pin my email in the chat so we can make sure you have that. It's Coach Daniel Smiley at gmail.com. Coach Daniel Smiley at gmail.com. If you want to send me your resume, I will review it for free and tell you the truth about whether or not you're going to get a call back. There are so many people who have a resume on LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter or Career Builder, and they think that their resume is stellar and they're not getting calls back, and they don't understand why they're not getting called back. I know exactly why. Okay, so let me go ahead and pin this in the chat. So if you want me to review your resume for free, I will do that. All you got to do is send it to me, and I will give you my honest feedback. If you want to purchase the resume template, you can. The resume template is, if you just click the link in my bio, you'll be able to see the resume template, and you can grab it, and it'll make your resume perfect. And if you purchase it and then you send your resume back to me after you have reformatted it, I'll review it for free and tell you any changes that need to be made to. I'll do that for free. Don't worry about it. Now, if you want to, you can go to a resume writing company and spend $300, $400, $500 for them to put something together for you. But here's the deal. A lot of them don't know what it is I'm looking for and what it is I want, or a talent acquisition manager or recruiter or hiring manager wants. Now, remember, my job as a talent acquisition manager is to get the hiring manager the types of candidates with the qualifications they want, making the money that's within the pay range that we have already agreed to and talked about and worked out, right? In my company, the CFO approves all pay ranges, so I can work within those parameters. And if that needs to be changed in any way, if I need to add pay, add bonuses, all of that good stuff, we have to take that back through the approval process channels to get that taken care of. But I'm the one that does that, right? A lot of times people think the hiring manager has control of that, and they are in control of usually making the decision about who they hire. But when it comes to pay equity within an organization, that's a human resources function. And in my case, as you know, a department head, that is a talent acquisition function within our team. So I make those pay suggestions and get you guys exactly what you want, so you're not being lowball. I never ever, good morning, CM. I never ever allow a hiring manager to dictate pay. So they may come back to me and say, I want to pay this person X, right? Let's say it's lower than what that person's skill justifies. I will say to them, we can't do that, because it's going to create a pay equity issue. This person has X skills or these skills, and based on everybody else in the organization, this is where they should land. It doesn't matter how they feel about it. That doesn't matter, right? The bottom line is we want to be fair to everyone. Now, why is that? Because we know that if we pay the person fairly, there's less likely of a chance that person's going to leave because they're being underpaid, okay? But you, sir, ma'am, you're leaving money on the table. I'm telling you that you're leaving money on the table. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean. So this is part two, just a follow up from yesterday's live stream. This is the best way to negotiate pay. Okay. So as I'm about to share this with you, just remember a couple things. Number one, if you have an interview this week and you need to really be, totally prepared for it. Okay. I created a guide. All you gotta do is click the link in my bio on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok. It'll take you to my link tree. And there's a guide I have up there, what you should know before you go. All of these things you need to know before you go. They're questions that I ask when a person gets started. One of the questions is, have you ever heard about our company? If a person says to me no, then I know they haven't researched the company. They haven't gone to the website and clicked the About Us tab. Anybody can do that. And that shows that you are prepared, right? And that lack of preparation sets the standard for that interview. All right. So I have a guide, what you should know before you go. Another guide that I have up there is what we're talking about today, and that's the best way to negotiate pay. I show you exactly what you need to do to negotiate pay. If you click the link in my bio, it'll take you to my link tree, and you'll be able to see it in my link tree. Okay. Another thing, if you want to donate, if you want to give via Cash App, you want to give a gift, you can give a gift. That's fine. You know, I appreciate everybody who is saying, I'm really appreciating this work that you're doing for the community, for all of us that are following you on all of these platforms. We appreciate you giving us this free game, this free information. And if you guys want to support that by sending a Cash App, you can. I don't care if it's $1, $10, $100, it doesn't matter to me. Anything is appreciated. There's another guide that I have that if you are struggling in any way, shape, form, or fashion to get a job, and I'm going to explain to you where your struggle may be on the process line in just a second, you can click that guide, the fastest way to get a job. This is literally, if you follow the instructions in that guide, if you start on day 1, by day 30, you'll be working. You'll be starting a job by day 30, because the process is typically you're going to do applications in week 1, interviews in week 2 and get an offer, and then a 2-week notice, and then you get started on a job. That's typically how it works. That guide shows you that. And whenever I'm backing out the timeline for hiring in our organization, that timeline is a 14 to 30 day timeline. And I break that timeline down to all of our hiring managers and speak to the candidates about that, right? One of the interview questions that I have in the pre-screen to a candidate is, our next new hire orientation is in 2 weeks. Are you available to start a job on Monday, whatever date that is, right? And that's a pre-screen question. And if they aren't, then I'll say, okay, the next new hire orientation is 2 weeks after that on this Monday. Are you okay with that? And I will mark that down. If a person says to me, I can't start a job for another 60 days, that they're out, right? Come back to me 30 days prior, and then we'll have a conversation about whether you can get started. So this guide shows you exactly how to get the job fast within 30 days, literally 14 to 30 days. You can get that guide. These grab and go guides are like $5, $6. I just want to put this information in you. And then if you need more in-depth, a more in-depth understanding, there's a lot of people who are coming at me and say, Dan, you know, I am doing this job interview and I just really want to understand the ins and outs. You can click the link in my bio and I'll do a one-on-one with you. Here's my commitment to you. I'll solve all of your problems with respect to any interview you have coming up in 30 minutes or less. That's my commitment to you. Now, if we need to go over a little longer, I don't have a problem with that. And it's important that you purchase it and book it, because purchase it and then let me in. And once I get the notification, I'll reach out to you and let you know that I have it, because I have these one-on-ones a lot every day. Okay. And I want to make sure that I'm able to fit you in. I don't want to be too late. So if you have an interview next week or an interview by the end of this week, you know, 3-4 days in advance, it's important that we get on the call so I can tell you what to expect and what to do. Everything you need to do. And I don't care if you are C-level executive or below. I know a guy reached out to me yesterday who is a CIO, and he wanted to make sure that he was saying and, you know, sharing the right information as a CIO. I used to be a COO of an organization. I owned my own staffing agency for many, many years. So I used to be a CEO, built a multi-million-dollar company, 2 actually. And so the point is, all of this information I'm sharing with you. So I'm giving you free content If you want to support, you can. And I have these guys. Okay, let's talk about what you need to know about negotiating pay. So, how does pay work in an organization? Okay. The way pay works in an organization is a hiring manager has too much work for their current team to do. Okay. It's too much work. They can't do it themselves all by themselves. So what they do is they have to get approval, usually through HR, for head count and additional head count. So they have a position that they now have available. Maybe the position is vacant. Maybe the position was part of head count and somebody left or got promoted or was terminated, whatever. That position is now available. All right. Once that position is now available, and one more thing, if you have any questions you want to ask me, you can ask them in the chat. Okay, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have in the chat as well. And if you want to request to come up live, you can also. All right, so that request comes to us. The hiring manager will then get with talent acquisition. In my case, they will get with me. I'm the person they come to and say, hey, I got this position open. This is what we're thinking about. What do you recommend? So I'll talk to them about everything. First thing I'll say is, one, is there an internal candidate that you're interested in that you can move into this position potentially? Okay. If the answer to that question is no, it's a new position or a position is too skilled, whatever it is, then we go the external route. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this position. I already have a job description that I've created and they've approved. Have that job description. We have already done a salary survey. I know exactly what the range should be for that particular position in each market. And we will go to the market by posting that position through our applicant tracking system to attract candidates like you, okay? When you apply for that job, my team and I are responsible for reaching out to you to do a pre-screen, and we do virtual interviews here in our organization. So it's a 1 or 2 step process. You will do a virtual interview via Microsoft Teams. Second step of the process, if the hiring manager wants you to come to their location to do a in-person interview, you can do that. But I usually ask hiring managers to make a decision on that person by the end of the day. Okay. Now, why do I ask them to do that? Because prior to me posting a position, I get all of the details from the hiring manager about what they want in a candidate. And the only people they're going to see are people that fit within that framework. That's it. Okay, so there's no need for you to linger on, sleep on it. We don't need all that. We're trying to get a position filled. Let us know. When they say, yes, I want to hire this person, Dan, this is the person I want to make an offer to, then what we do, what my team and I do, right? This comes through me, to me, through me, is we do, a pay equity survey, right? So we will go in, we have a tool, and we will put in all this person's experience, and based on their experience, it'll spit out a number to us. And that number, and sometimes I will add to that number. If it's a little bit too low, I'll add to it. If it's high, that's fine, right? But I'll add to that number and go back to the hiring manager and say, okay, this is how this person plotted. Are you okay with that? Yes. Okay, good. Then submit an offer to me through the system. And then I will go to the candidate and I'll have a conversation with the candidate. Now, remember, I do it differently. I already know what the candidate is willing to accept. That's part of the interview process. But let me explain to you what almost no candidates do when I talk to them. Because when I am having a conversation, and most talent acquisition managers and hiring managers do not function this way, they do not go over the rest of the stuff that I'm about to share with you. And they leave money on the table every single time they get hired. What is that? You know what the base pay is and you are agreeable. Most candidates stop right there. That's it. They're finished. So you got a salary that you want because you know in your mind, this is my skill. I've done this survey. I've gotten Daniel's guide. I know what to look for. But there is another component I want you to start doing with every single job you have. I don't care if it's an entry-level position, warehouse job, admin position, CEO job, CFO, VP, middle-level manager. I do not care. This is how you need to approach it. If you got an interview this week, be kind about it, but ask this. Okay, thank you, Mr. Smiley, or thank you, whoever the manager is. Thank you so much for this offer. I appreciate it. Are there any other incentives included with this offer? Are there any other incentives included with this offer? I'll explain to you what I'm talking about in just a second. So JMS says, I have an interview tomorrow with New Jersey DOC for instructional technician secured facilities. Okay. If you want to be supremely prepared for that job and increase your likelihood of getting a position, click the link in my bio and let's schedule a one-on-one. Okay. If you cannot schedule a one-on-one, click the link in my bio and get the what you need to know before you go guide and how to negotiate, the best way to negotiate pay guide. You need to get that. Okay. I want to make sure you're ready for that interview tomorrow so you can get this job. You don't need to be interviewing for 5 and 6 and 10 jobs before you get a job. You need to be able to get that job pretty quickly. Black Butterfly says, I'm still waiting for a second interview to be scheduled. It's been a week. Is it going to happen? It's a healthcare company. Let me answer your question. This is what I advise. Listen to me very carefully. If you haven't heard from an interview, a hiring manager or recruiter in 72 hours, you need to call them and get an update. If you get a voicemail and have not heard from them within 24 hours of that phone call, you need to email them requesting an update. If you don't get a response back within 24 hours from that email and the company is local, you need to get in your car, get on a bus, a taxi, or an Uber, and you need to go to that company to get an update, right? What's happening? Okay. Well, when a hiring manager really, really, really wants to hire you, when you are the perfect candidate, they move quickly because their fear is, if we don't lock this person down, and that's what I say, when a hiring manager is moving slow, I will send that hiring manager a message that says, listen, I do not want to lose this candidate that you say you like. So submit the offer so we can lock them down. I can at least call them and give them a verbal offer. Okay. Are you still interested in that person? They say yes. I make the verbal offer, then give the candidate, set expectations for the candidate about when the written offer will come and instructions following that. So if you haven't heard back in a week, there is a great likelihood they are not interested in you. But to make sure, within 72 hours you call, within 24 hours after that you email, and within 24 hours after that you get in your car and you go ask them personally. Okay, that's how you do it. If it is a local company, you can get in your car and go. If it is not a local company, then you need to email them until they respond back to you. Call and email until they respond back to you. You should not be left in limbo about whether or not you are the candidate for that job. No hiring manager worth their salt, no talent acquisition manager who cares about candidates will keep you in limbo. None. No one on my team will ever do that. I never do that. I don't have a problem with telling you, yes, you have been accepted, or no, you have not. I don't have a problem with that at all. Now, 9 out of 10 people that I submit for review to a hiring manager that gets the interview, they get the job. Why? Because I have already set a clear runway, a pathway to that person being hired. All of the critical questions have been answered. Everything is already out of the way. Most recruiters do not function that way. They give all of the power to the hiring managers. I don't. I am submitting a candidate to you based on what you told me you want. It's like going to a car dealership and you saying to the car dealer, I want a black car with white leather interior with 22-inch rims, whatever that is, right? And they pull up to the front of the car dealership with exactly what you asked for. there is no reason why you shouldn't buy it, right? That's how I deal with every single candidate. Every single hiring manager. If I'm talking to a hiring manager and you have told me what you want and I have given you what you want, the only reason why they will not hire you is because you blew it in the interview. You weren't likable. Okay. That's the only reason. You did not do what I told you to do in the pre-screen. That's the only reason why. Okay. That happens sometimes. So that's why I don't have a problem going back to a candidate and say, well, nope, they decided not to go with you. They want to keep interviewing. Right? That's how it works. So call that company today if you haven't called. A week is way too long. You shouldn't be left in limbo. Companies that are trying to build their bench and fill up their database are not going to be interviewing you for jobs that are not really open. If they're interviewing you, it's a job that is open. Okay? Now, here's something else you need to remember. If you are submitting your application and you're getting to the interview, but you are not getting offers, that means your interviewing sucks. Excuse me for saying it like that. You need to be trained. You need to listen to some of my videos so you can start answering the way that I answer. Short and sweet, direct and to the point. Don't do more. Maybe you're talking too much in the interview. You're giving away too much information. If you are submitting your resume and application to jobs, but nobody's calling you back, that's a resume issue. You have an issue with your resume. It is not attracting the attention of recruiters and hiring managers, so no one is calling you back. If you are submitting your resume, getting an interview, and you're getting all the way to the offer, and people are offering you the jobs, and it is not what you want, it's because you are not selecting jobs that are in line with your skill, experience, education, and background, right? You may be a senior level person, but you're applying for entry level positions. They're just trying to take a chance. They may think you're overqualified. There's a lot of stuff that's going on there that I would need to talk you through and get worked out. But these are what I call the points of entry and exit. If you're not getting callbacks because of your resume, you did 100 applications and nobody's calling you back. Your resume is horrible, and that's just the truth. It doesn't mean that you're not qualified. You may be supremely qualified. Your resume is not good, and people are not. You're making recruiters and hiring managers work way too hard to understand what you're an expert at. Okay, and they're not going to call you back. And the best way to solve that problem is to get that resume template and redo your resume the way that I'm telling you to do it, because I know what hiring manager is looking for. Okay. So again, we're talking about negotiating pay, the best way for you to negotiate pay. All right. So you get to the hiring manager, you get to the offer, and you say, thank you so much for the offer. I really appreciate that. Are there any other incentives that go along with it? Well, the hiring manager, if they are not familiar with that question, and most of them are not, okay? Most of them are not. They're not familiar with that question. They're going to say, what incentives are you talking about? And this is the list you're going to run down. Is there a sign-on bonus associated with this job? They may say no. Is there a performance bonus associated with this job? They may say no. They may say yes, but you will find out at that particular time. Is there a flexible work schedule available with this job? Is it hybrid? Can I work remote? Right? All of those things you can find out in the offer phase. So you want to make sure you have all of that before you accept an offer. Again, the question is, are there other incentives associated with this job offer? Now, why are you asking that question? Okay. We're going to talk about that right now. Because when you get to the offer phase, and I'm going to tell you, I made this mistake, so I know what I'm talking about. Everything they said that you will be able to receive, listen to me, you need to get it in writing. It needs to be in that offer letter. I accepted a position for a job way back where I was supposed to receive a bonus annually, a KPI bonus based on me and my team's performance. When it came time to pay that bonus, because I did not have it in writing, I did not get it. Okay. something happened, the company was doing this, budgetary reasons, all kind of stuff. Again, I'm not saying I don't care about the company that I work for. I do, but I don't care about any of that. If I did what I promised I am going to do, my expectation is you are going to write the check, right? If I don't get that in writing up front, if you don't get that in writing up front, you are leaving money on the table. You are leaving yourself open for the company to make some sort of an excuse not to pay you. Not that they're trying to get over on you, okay? But things may change. Like in my instance, the person who promised me the bonus was no longer with the company. It was the CEO. So they switched out CEOs. That was, again, that promise that was made to me that was not in writing was null and void. I will never do that again, have never done that again, and I don't want you to do that again. So, should you get a benefit survey in writing? Yes. Should you know the company holidays and days you get off? Yes. All of that stuff should be part of your offer package so you know exactly what you're walking into, no ifs, ands, buts, or maybes. So if you have a question about anything with respect to the application, hiring, interview, offer process, leave it in the comment section. Okay, so Antel says, Coach Dan, I did download the resume template and I'm revamping my resume now. I will reach out to you by the end of this week. By the way, I'm the CIO. Yes, I'm using you, Ant, as an example because you have been contacting me and you reached out to me and you and I have had some conversations online about your upcoming interview for the CIO position. So thank you so much for purchasing it, sir. Get your resume right. Send it to me. I'll make sure that it is supremely positioned so that when the COO or CEO sees your resume, they are going to know that you are the guy to solve the problem for the jobs they have. If you have a question, you can leave it in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer it for you, okay? Remember, during the offer phase, you want to thank the manager for giving you an offer. And then you want to ask that critical question. Are there other incentives associated with this offer? Because I want to know, is it a sign-on bonus? Is it a performance bonus? Talk to me about benefits, flexible work schedule. I need to know all of that. Is there education reimbursement? Whatever it is, you need to know all of it. Do you guys pay for certifications? Right? You need to know all of that. Gardening for the Soul says, I have had a lot who have left me in limbo. I called and was told I forgot. Okay. So gardening, let me explain something to you. No competent. See, these kinds of things kind of get me a little riled up. No competent talent acquisition manager or hiring manager will leave a candidate who is a valuable part of a team, potential part of a team, will leave them in limbo. Oh, I forgot. You forgot. Okay, so you're telling me as a manager, I'm not that important. Why would I want to work for you? Okay, now, why do I tell you to follow up? I never, ever want you to lose control of the interview process. See, a lot of people think they are not in control of the interview process, but you are. You are in control of the interview process. I ask candidates, when are you available to interview? They tell me, I schedule it on their schedule. Or what kind of money are you looking to make? They tell me, we pay based on what they're open to making. Do we have any additional incentives? I tell them what we have to offer, but they ask the question and we give them what it is they want. That is how it works. You are in control of the process and you need to know that. And I'm telling you, and I'm the guy that does the talent acquisition stuff. You are in control of the process in a lot more ways than you know. Okay? Again, if you want me to review your resume for free, all you have to do is send me your resume via email saying, hey, I saw you on live, or I saw your information on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube. Can you let me know what the state of my resume is? If you are not getting called back, you're applying to a bunch of jobs and nobody's calling you, it usually means your resume is not in good condition. If you are getting interviews, but you are not getting offers, it usually means you are not answering the interview questions correctly. I got a whole page full of questions that hiring managers ask you, that you can listen to those videos and it'll tell you exactly how to respond. Okay. And if you are getting through the interviews, but you are not getting the offers, it's because there's a mismatch there in terms of how you interview, what the offer is, in the whole 9 yards. And I want to change that in your life. Okay. So Gardening says, I have a resume issue for sure, and my interviewing needs to be polished. So here's the deal. There's two things that I'm going to be uploading this week. One is, so first of all, Gardening, I want to address this. If you have not already done it, click the link in my bio and get the resume template, because you need to fix that problem. You're going to keep running into the same exact issue if you don't. I promise you that. Okay. That's number one. I look at resumes, and in just a few seconds, I can tell you if a person is qualified or not, and I'll send a rejection letter based on that resume quickly, right? And no one is out here telling you how to format your resume the proper way. I'm going to give you one example. Everybody tells you to put an objective on your resume. An objective simply says, I am trying to obtain a position doing X. Nobody cares about that. Okay. The hiring manager, when they first meet you, do not care about what you want. Your objective is irrelevant. Okay. What they want to know is what you are an expert at, and if that expertise can solve their problem. So one of the things that I've made a switch on in the resume is, instead of an objective, you need to have a captivating headline. That one difference right there will tell the talent acquisition pro and the hiring manager exactly who you are and what you do, not what you want. If I'm having an air conditioning problem, I want to know that I have a top-notch technician who has serviced 10,000 air conditioners in the last 20 years, and they can solve my problem without charging me extra money. That's what I'm saying. That's a captivating headline. Most people do not have a captivating headline on their resume. And so nobody knows what you're an expert at. And no one worth their salt, no talent acquisition person or hiring manager, is going to continue checking you out if they don't know that. Then there's two other components right below the captivating headline that you need to show and display your expertise even before they get to your work history. If everything is squared away from your name and address information all the way down to that fourth component in the resume that I've created, somebody is going to call you. I promise you that. But if it isn't, then they're going to continue to look over your resume and get to somebody whose expertise is a little bit more clear. Okay, so you also said your interviewing need to be more polished. I give you free content all day, every day on interviews, and I am creating something else for you guys. I'm writing a guide, should be done by the end of the day today and up by the end of the day tomorrow. Overcoming your fear of the job interview. Overcoming your fear. It's a guide to overcoming your fear of job interview. There's so much anxiety associated with interviewing that you're walking into a situation where you feel like you're at a disadvantage. Okay? That guide will help you to overcome that fear. And I am going to have that done for you here soon. Okay? So DeFacto wants to join. Let me see what DeFacto has to say. But you have all the power, and you need to remember that you have all the power in the interview so you can get the job you want faster. So if you have an issue with your resume, just like I said, make sure you are reaching out and checking out all of the resources that I have for you. How are you doing today? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? How you doing? Can you hear me? Are you there? Okay. So De facto, if you want to try to join again, it looks like you're from Germany, or you have a German, certainly have a German name. I'll be happy to speak with you if you want to try to request to join back up again, or you can leave your question in the comment section, and I'll be happy to interview you. Okay, thanks for the great info. Omar says, where can I find the link for the resume? Okay, if you click the link in my bio, it's Linktree/Daniel Smiley. You'll see it. You'll see where it says resume template. Okay, just go to the link in my bio here on Instagram. Click it, and then you will see that link right there. Just grab it. Okay, and it's important that you grab it because the price is going to be going up. Okay, so Gardney says, I will hear from her. She is going to an interview. Awesome. Let me know how it goes. I really want to know how your interview goes, because obviously I know that what I'm sharing is helpful to people, and I want to make sure that you guys are getting the results that you want. Okay. So the other thing too, let me see who this is. Omar, if you send me an email requesting the link for the resume template, I will send you a direct link via email, and that way you can just get it and get your resume revamped. Okay. All right. If you have a question, leave it in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer that for you. Greetings from the DMV. Thank you so much, Shop Talk. Appreciate that. Sound is in and out. I'm sorry about that. Sometimes internet issues happen. Oh my God, Gardner says, I have that fear. I am going to share that guide with you about how to overcome the fear of interviews. But Black Butterfly says the sound is out, and I'm just going to keep on going because it's going to be on YouTube. And if you are a subscriber, you can get the replay of this whole live as a subscriber. Okay, so JR Valdez says, I'm looking forward to sending you my resume. It's been a month and only one interview. Yes, send it to me. You are sending your resume out, and if you have only had one interview in 30 days, your issue is your resume is not something that they are interested in. It doesn't mean you don't have the skills, right? Remember, they don't know you. Doesn't mean you don't have the skills. It just means that your skills are not being displayed in such a way, okay? It's not being displayed in such a way that's causing them to be attracted. Okay, Angel says, or Ann says, if I was terminated from a job, do I need to tell them the reason? No. So here's the deal. I did a video on this, okay? If you were terminated from a position, if you're no longer with that company and they say, why did you leave that company? The simple answer is, whether you were terminated or not, and I do not encourage people to be dishonest, okay? But you can answer the question this way. My goals and my values are more aligned with this company. That's why I'm sitting here interviewing with you, okay? Now, if they found out you were terminated and why, you gotta fess up. You gotta tell them exactly why, and don't try to justify it. This is how you respond to that. Hey, we found out you were terminated from the job because of poor attendance. Can you elaborate on that? This is the response. I have learned from that. Yes, I have learned from that mistake, and it will never happen again. That's it. Don't say anything else. Yes, that happened, but I have learned from that mistake, and it will never happen again. That's how you want to respond to that, okay? You don't want to go into this long, drawn-out reason why and justify why you were terminated. My boss was this, my boss was that. I didn't like this, I didn't like that. You do not want to do that. You just want to say, listen, yes, that is the reason, but I have learned from that mistake, and it will never happen again. That's what you need, how you need to respond. So Kitchen say the sound is good for her. Thank you so much for confirming that. Black Butterflies Coach, we appreciate your help. The job market is rough, and not for the weak. LOL. Thanks for all you do. Listen, I want you to put your arms around the job market and control it, because there are people out there who need your skill, experience, background, expertise. They need it. They absolutely need it for their companies to go to where they're trying to go to. What are these companies looking for? They're looking for people to help them grow their profits. They're looking for people to help them grow their customer base. They're looking for people to help them take care of their customers. They're looking for people to run the organization. That's what they're looking for. That's you. But they will never find you, ever find you, if you don't have the right kind of things to show them that you're that person. Okay? Ofta says, how should I answer, control the conversation if a recruiter discloses the salary range and its entry level compared to my senior experience? Should I say I'm open to that? $10,000 and $15,000 less. Okay, so I'm going to give you this response in two parts so you can maintain control. Okay, part number one, yes, you want to say that you're open. You want to stay open. Okay, because the moment you are no longer open, the door to that company is going to be closed to you. Okay, here's why you want to stay open, because you have no idea about what other jobs there are in that company that are unpublished. Okay, take this all the way to the offer phase. And if all they're offering is the entry level pay, and it is far less than what you're willing to accept, don't take the job. Don't take it. Or if you need to take care of you and your family, you have to do what you have to do until you are able to get something that is more in line with what works for you and your career. Okay? If the only thing you have on your plate to eat is a piece of chicken and you don't like chicken, you better eat that chicken or you're going to die, right? What I'm saying is, if that's all you have right now, do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do. That's my advice. I tell that to candidates too, because here's the deal. I don't fear a person leaving a job at where I work, because I can replace a person in 14 days. I don't have an issue with that. Go get another job somewhere that's taking care of you and your family. That is what you should do. Okay? And let me know. Give us a 2-week notice. By the time your notice is up, I'll have somebody sitting in your seat. You leave that Friday, somebody will be there Monday. I'm not trying to be arrogant here. I'm just telling you that's how we function as a talent acquisition team. That's how I lead the organization. But I care so much about you that I don't want you being here in this job to be a strain to you. Tap the screen if that works for you. Okay? And more people need to care about you in that way. Angel says, thank you so much. You're welcome. Okay? Off says, open to that, except for job security, but actively looking for something better. Now, I know what you mean when you say something better. Something better means better for you. I would say something that is a better fit, right? Especially if you utilize that tone. Excuse me, those kinds of things make me respond in that way. So, as you're negotiating pay, again, you're asking the question: are there other incentives? If they tell you that there are other incentives, the next step is get it in writing. Once you get it all in writing, okay? Once you get it all in writing, okay, then you want to ask them, how much time do I have to accept this? Typically, it's 3 days, okay? If they give you 3 days, take a day or two, make sure it's exactly what you want, take a day, stay in contact with the talent acquisition person, and then you want to make sure that you sign that offer and then get the process rolling for your onboarding, okay? But don't relinquish control of the process. Don't relinquish power in the process. We, as talent acquisition people, as human resources professionals, as hiring managers, we need you, and you need to know that you have the power, okay? Now, because I understand that, I know how to control push controls and make things happen, okay, for you. So make sure that you maintain control. Bingo. Thank you, Coach. That's a great chicken analogy that resonates. Good stuff. Yeah. Listen, do what you got to do right now. You know what I mean? I've had to do that as well. I've gone all the way back to a desk recruiter, full desk recruiter position, and worked that job for 6 months or a year until I got a position that was paying to solve a problem. Listen to what I'm about to say. Okay. Stop what you're doing. Listen to what I'm saying. I have taken that job at a lower salary to take care of my family until I found a position that was solving a problem at the level that I'm experienced to do. Okay. Can I solve a lower level issue, recruiting issue? Yes. I can get 20 people hired a day, depending on the position, right? I can solve that problem in an organization, but I am best suited to manage it in a department, right? As a middle level or senior level manager in talent acquisition, and solve that for medium-sized and large organizations across the US. I am supremely qualified to do that. That's where my experience lies. So you got to do what you have to do until a position that is more in line with your ability to solve a problem within an organization comes along. Okay? Make sure you're taking care of yourself and your family, and you're maintaining the control 100% of the time. If you have any questions, you can email me. If you have a resume and you are not getting calls back to interview, you need to get your resume fixed. Click the link in my bio or send your resume to me at the email address pinned here. I'll look at it and I'll give you the honest to God's truth. Okay. It's pinned on YouTube as well. Just go to the Coach Daniel Smiley at gmail.com. I'll take a look at it. I'll tell you what needs to be fixed on it. Okay. If you want to fix it, go to the link in my bio on any one of the platforms and get the resume template, the winning resume template. Get it in less than 1 hour, depending on how fast you type, because you're just going to copy and paste a lot of information. You will have to add some stuff like the captivating headline, but I give you an example of what that looks like in the template. So get that resume template. It's $20. Invest in your career. That's it, $20. I mean, it's worth a lot more than that, right? Imagine you were trying to get a $50,000 a year job. What is $20 to get that interview? That's nothing, right? So I made it that's because I want it to be widely distributed, because I want people to get jobs. If you are having an issue with negotiating pay, you're getting to the offer and that's an issue and you're leaving money on the table, you need to get the guide, the best way to negotiate pay. And if you're having challenges, where should I look and what should I be doing to go find a job? Because you're not doing 25 applications minimum a week or every 3 days, really. If you're not doing 25 applications, you need to get the guide, the fastest way to find a job. And if you need to be prepared, more prepared for an interview, you need to walk into that interview with your chest out, walking proud, like you know what you're about to do. You need to get the guide, what you need to know before you go to a job interview. You need to walk in there, beating on your chest, letting everybody know that you are the man or you are the woman. You know all of the answers to every single question that anyone can ever ask you, period. You know it. Why? Because you follow this content, you listen to this content. I'm giving you the answers, and they don't understand where you're getting it from. And all they're going to think is, oh my goodness, this person has blown me away, because you are a winner in your interview. Click the link in the bio. If you need a more in-depth talk, you want to get with me one-on-one, I'll solve any issue that you have with respect to thinking about a job, relocating, getting promoted within an organization, what you need to do to impress the powers that be, right? Click the one-on-one session, and in 30 minutes or less, I will solve all of your problems. Yesterday, I had a lady who is interested in applying to become a police officer, okay? And I had a conversation with her, and I told her several things, like shut your social media page down. Make it private. Because I'm looking at your social media page, and here's what the perception will be. You don't want that. Then she asked me questions like this. She had a couple of interviews with a couple of police departments, and they asked her this question. If your mother ran a red light, a stop sign, if your mother ran a stop sign and you stopped her, would you give her a ticket? And she was a little perplexed. And I said to her, if your mother kicked your dog, what would you do? You would be upset with her. You would stop her from doing that, right? As a police officer, the reason why they're asking you that question is they want to know if you can separate your personal feelings and emotions from the law. And if you cannot explain that in an interview, if you cannot articulate that I wouldn't care if it was my mama, my grandmother, my best friend, or my buddy, I don't care. If they break the law, they have to get a ticket. That's the answer they want. They don't want to answer that it's your mom, so you don't want her to feel bad. No, if it's my mother, she's getting a ticket. That's the answer they want. Now, what you do is completely up to you, obviously, in that moment, but that's what they're looking for. Can you separate the personal from the business? And when you're interviewing for jobs, that's what people are looking for. Can you separate the personal from the business? If you can't articulate that, then it's going to be challenging for you to get past anyone in the interview process. If you have a question, leave it in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer. Garden says, I have applied for jobs. Okay, here's the deal. The strategy for applying for jobs is pretty simple. It's 25 applies to get one job interview. And if you are applying to 25 jobs, but you're not getting a job interview, 25 jobs to get one interview to potential offer. If you're not getting interviews to offer, it's because your resume is not good. That's the easiest and cleanest way for me to say it. Okay? So get that fixed, and I have provided a solution for you. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this live. Stay tuned to the page. I'm going to continue to share information with you. Stay tuned for the next live that's coming up as well. I want to make sure I'm helping you guys as much as possible. If you need to have your resume issue solved, send your resume to me right now, and I'll be more than happy to take a look at it. Click the link in my bio to donate, to give what it is you can, and then we'll go from there. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you guys again really, really soon. God bless you.